Everyone, and welcome to week 5. Can you believe we're already in week 5? You probably can believe it. It goes fast for us, but you may think it's been week 15 by now. But welcome to week 5. We're glad you're back with us. We are recording and we've got a full agenda and want to save time at the end for you to ask any questions. So, Dr. Stedman, you want to talk about task stream accounts?
Okay, are you going to bring up the agenda or it doesn't matter?
I do
Um,
not have it pulled up. If you've
okay,
got
I've
it,
got it. I've got it. You have it. You're not sharing yet, right?
I am not.
Well, okay, well, I've got it right here. Uh, Last week I talked to you about task stream accounts. I know Dr. Stone was working with one of you that was formerly enrolled in the program in another program. Is there anybody that has has a problem with task stream accounts at this point? Anybody? Well, that sounds good.
That's great. So, I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get into our discussion this evening from our textbook, and we are on chapter 3. So, let's look at that. Chapter 3 is about the partnership principles. And there's a little short video that I'm not going to play, but it's a great video that introduces the partnership principles. There's several videos um, online where Jim Knight, who's the author of our book, or one of the authors, the main author, has about all these different principles we're going to talk about tonight. So, first thing I want you to do, and I just want you to think about this. Why do you think conversations fail when you, as an instructional leader, are talking to a teacher about improving instructional practice or about trying a new practice? Why do you think those conversations fail?
I think people take it personally.
Very much so. And that's exactly a good segue, um, because it triggers thoughts about our own identity. And Knight talks about being very careful that when you're having discussions with teachers, that they don't feel like you're attacking their good character. For example, you're attacking my character if you in any way hint, or I think you're hinting, that I'm not working hard enough, or if I don't care about kids. That's character. Also, if they get any hint whatsoever that you are attacking their competence as a teacher, as a leader in their classroom, that can be very personal. And acceptance. We all want to be accepted. If they get any hint that you're attacking them about not being accepted, if they don't buy in or if they don't try, that gets at your character, or that gets at our identity, excuse me, and control. Jim Knight is very big on giving teachers control over what practices they want to work on or what next steps they want to work on to improve their practice. And I guess if I could say, Dr. Stedman, and admit this to this group, as an instructional leader in my school, this is probably where I did not follow good practices, because I was pretty adamant, we're going to work on this and we're all going to work on it and we're going to get as good as we can get. And I look back on that and I can see that, you know, teachers will do that if you're the principal and say that's what you want to see. But when they shut the door, they're not going to, well, all of them are not going to work on it. Some may, but not all will. So
Right.
getting their buy-in by releasing some of my control and giving them some control over their journey as they refine their practice. So, here's a quick video about Jim Knight's principles. I'm not going to do it, show it, because really and truly it just is an introduction. And we are going to look at those 7 partnership principles. So if you could take a screenshot, I'm going to split you into 7 groups. Take a screenshot or take a picture with your phone. And really pay attention to which group you are in. Everybody got it? Okay. I'm going to end this, and I'm going to now try to find where I can do breakout rooms if it's not covered up. I need to stop share. Pay close attention to what group you're in. Okay, let me get this done. Oh, Dr. Stedman, I'm messing up. I can't. They're unassigned. Let me see what I need to do. I thought I could assign. Okay, I've got it now. I thought I had it. I'm gonna have to come out of this. I think. I can't get it to automatically assign. Let me close it again. All right, that's a big bust. So what I would like for you to do is, at this point, I would like for you to go to your chat box. Dr. Stedman, do you know what I'm doing wrong?
I don't.
Dr. Barnes, can you help me? Do you know what I'm doing wrong?
See, it shows on here breakout rooms 21 for me. I
Oh,
don't,
goodness.
well, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It did, and then it didn't. It's not showing anything on my end. Um, Now I can see them. They've not joined, but they've been assigned or no, they've been unassigned. It says.
I think they're all going to one breakout room.
It only says one room.
Yeah. I don't know what I've done.
Go in there, Dr. Evison. And sign yourself, and then go in there and just tell them.
I'm moving some of them.
Okay. We'll just take the time. It's a learning lesson. You've done it before though, so I mean,
It just wouldn't pop up and let me.
and Christine is still showing with us.
Yeah, I had to leave and come back. I think it moved everybody into the same room.
I'm switching them out right now, I think. I don't know why it's wanting to be persnickety. All right, I've got them all assigned.
Okay, Christine's not assigned.
Let me find her. Okay, I see you.
And now she is. Okay,
Don't ask me why.
that's okay. That's okay. Um, I'm seeing over here. Um, I don't know what. I didn't see them when I printed it out to look at. Cannot.
I'm gonna try to check my attendance right quickly.
I've got it.
Okay.
Let me see if anybody else has joined in. Let me see how many. No, we won't. I won't know how many's here again. I had everybody checked in except for I didn't see Jared Hart. Okay,
Hello.
Brooklyn and Dana need to be assigned.
I think
I just assigned them.
Okay, and Kimberly. Amanda. Okay. Okay. This is one unassigned participant. That may be me.
I can't find it.
That may be, it may be me. Jason Petty.
All right.
Okay. Okay. She's assigning you now, Jason.
Okay, cool.
I think I took off all of room one. Don't
And if anybody else pops up,
ask me.
we'll pop. I don't see Elizabeth Banks, Kamisha
She's
Brown.
in Elizabeth's in group one, two.
She's here then. She came in then. Okay. There's Jody. You got to reassign her. Hold on, Jody. Okay. I didn't see Kamisha Brown and I didn't see Jared Hart. Everybody else is here. And they may be here, once we come back out. How long did you give them in there, Dr. Revis?
I'll have to, I don't know. How long we been out of it?
Well, we need to give them a little bit longer because we've got time. Because we're not introducing any new assignment tonight. And most of it is once I go through the standard three, and it won't take that long. Once I go through
Okay.
standard three, then we'll be okay. Because we're going to tell them about their peer review teams, but we're not going to tell them about the peer review process yet. I don't know what Brooklyn and them are asking about. Jared is here because somebody just asked him a question. So Jared is here. So she may be here by now. Kamisha is the only one then. I think Kamisha is the one with the newborn baby.
I just sent him a message. Please be prepared with a spokesperson to describe what your principal is and what it looks like.
Okay. And how many rooms did you do?
I did 7, but I ended up moving everybody out of room 1.
So 6.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good still. You see this? What I've got right here. Can you see them? These baked cheese crackers.
Yeah.
White cheddar, Dr. Rabbits. This is a family size box. I could sit here and eat the whole thing.
I get started. I like just the cheese ones. I could get started on it and do the same thing.
These are the white cheddar. They are delicious.
They are, I know. I'll be
And
right back.
I buy these at Aldi's, and you can get them so much less.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have an Aldi's near you?
One of my girls likes Funyuns. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
And they're $7 at our Ingles grocery store. And Ken can get them, I think he told me at, um, oh gosh, a Go Grocery Outlet like for 3. It's unbelievable. Okay, I'm gonna close the rooms. You think?
Yeah.
It takes them about 60 seconds to get back in.
Well, it says it'll be closed in less than a minute anyway.
Okay.
And here they come back.
Are we all back in? I think we're still in progress. We'll close in 6 seconds. Okay. Are we all back in? I think. Okay. Thank you for your patience as trying to do something a little bit different for your conversation on your reading. So, what I did when I got you in breakout rooms, I just started randomly assigning you. I assigned everybody out of group one. So, I will do the equality. Now, what it is, and gosh, we all know what equality means. It means that as an instructional leader, as a principal, I don't value one teacher's opinion over another. Everybody's important. That novice teacher may bring something to the table that enlightens everybody. And I have to be sure that I don't always just talk to one group of teachers or don't always just depend on my veteran teachers. And it's treating everybody with dignity and respect and everybody with equality. So that's what it is, and that's what it looks like. You've probably have had a principal or two that, hey, unless you were one of the golden children, it's usually experienced teachers or in the circle or on the school improvement team, you don't feel like you have a voice. And I just think as a school leader, you have to be very careful with that. It's easy, it's easy to latch on to who you perceive as the leaders and only listen to them. Okay, so group two, if your team leader would unmute and talk about choice, what it is and what does it look like?
So we really talked about the fact that it kind of goes back to what you were saying is originally with the idea of people are, if you tell somebody what they need to work on, they're not going to want to do that. So they're not, you have to give them the choice in it to own it. One of the things that, I highlighted are people are rarely motivated by others telling them what they have to do. Change happens from the inside out. So, as much as we go in and observe and see things that we think we want that person to change or whatnot, it's really about, what they are seeing within themselves.
So Kelly, how do you convince a teacher? If they say, "Well, I think I did pretty good on this. I want to work on this," which is something that you feel like they excelled at, and they don't really need to work on it. How do you, as a coach or a school leader, try to bring them around to getting out of their comfort zone?
I guess it's kind of just having a little more dialogue about that and having them tell you more like, okay, so what is it about that? Why are you choosing that? What is it that you see that you need to get better at? And maybe in their discussion kind of seeing, oh wait, okay, I really have this, and seeing like, well, what are some other areas, and just kind of maybe leading that discussion more around to, and maybe using some objective data of things that you saw within the classroom to say, okay, let's look at what the data shows and see if that's really the area. kind of.
Great. Thank you. All right, group three, voice.
Our group, when we focused on voice, we just wanted, or we discussed how important it is to make others feel that what they have to say is valuable. I discussed with the group members that we have a new assistant principal this year. And every time that I have gone to her, other people go to her, she says, do you want me to, or do you want to vent? Do you want me to listen to you? Or is there something that you want me to do about it? Because there are so many times that people just want their voice to be heard.
Yeah,
I like the way you said that, Jessica, and that's a good practice.
right. Okay, group four, dialogue.
Um, I was in a lovely group and we had lovely dialogue. It was me and Dr. Barnes and Kimberly, but we were confused by the breakout rooms and misunderstood the assignment a bit. We didn't know we were starting. We were waiting and just chatting, but I can speak to dialogue a little bit unless Kimberly or Dr. Barnes want to jump in. Um, so dialogue is just that it's a conversation. It's not top down. It's not you presenting data, it's having a dialogue about the data. It's really important that you have some good questions that will get the dialogue started and that you're not falling into what they call the advice trap and and you're not your questions aren't loaded with advice, that they're actually questions because people feel more empowered when they get to be a part of the problem solving. I definitely think this seems easier, but in a lot of ways, I have found that this takes a lot more confidence because you have to know the data so well that you can be prepared for the conversation to go in a direction you didn't plan on. And so it takes some openness and confidence from the person presenting the data, but it can absolutely be powerful.
And
Great job, Melanie.
You know what, Melanie? Melanie, I think about that as whether it's either speak, listen, or either listen and speak. That's the only way it's going to be dialogue.
And I think you're spot on when you talk about, you and Kelly both mentioned the importance of asking questions. And, we don't always we can't always ask a question shooting from the hip. Sometimes we have to be prepared and go into that in a prepared way. What questions do I want to make sure I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. Group 5. Very good. Thank you, Melanie. Group 5. What is reflection and what does it look like?
I am group 5, I think. Yeah, I was in group 5. So reflection, again, goes based on that delivery and how you are giving that reflection back and that feedback back to the teacher at the time. And it's important to, like, when you give that reflection, to provide the next steps of what are the next steps and what leads us to the next steps to accomplish those. And then we spoke about giving like bite-sized next steps, not necessarily. Some administrative leaders can give too much at one time, which can be overwhelming. And I personally use bite-sized steps too. And I break it up in something that can happen in 24 hours, something that can happen in 48 hours, and then something that can happen within a week. So that way you can see and get that reflection back from the teachers as well.
That's good.
Good idea. Okay, now group number 6, praxis. What is it and what does it look like?
I'll speak. We spoke about oh Lord, I'm terrible at speaking. Uh PLCs and being able to collaborate with other teachers in that area to look at the data and what works and what doesn't, so that you have someone that you can pair with, partner with, to kind of help make change so that you don't feel hopeless. And also being able to have some voice in what you do and some autonomy and be creative to do what you do and not have someone tell you this is the script of what you should do so that we can achieve XYZ.
Okay.
We also talked about that it's grounded in real life and what's happening. So the data shows us where we are, where we want to get to, and that progress that we're making. But for the teacher, it helps them to get a clear picture of the reality, be able to set the goals they need, and identify the path to get to the goal.
Good.
Good. Good job, guys. And our last group, group 7, reciprocity. What is it? What does it look like? Anybody from group 7?
Yeah, I'll speak real quick. So the big goal here is entering every conversation open and expecting to learn. I think it kind of ties into several other the groups as well, but going into a meeting or going into a conversation and expecting to learn. There might be a veteran teacher, there might be a teacher right out of college, but everybody's got something to give, and then listening. And I can't remember who said it, but somebody said, that the brand new teacher coming out is real excited about certain things happening. And when they go into a meeting and mention something that they're really excited about and nobody really gives them any kind of good positive feedback, it kind of hurts their feelings a little bit, things like that. So, being expected to, go into every meeting wanting to learn something, not just thinking that you have all the answers.
Great.
Good, Tommy.
All right. And to end our discussion, it's all about, and this is a quote from Jim Knight, leadership based on partnership principles is about helping others identify for themselves what they need to do rather than getting them to do what the leader has decided they should do. And it takes time. It takes a lot of good conversation, a lot of good questions, and there has to be a sense of trust and open communication in that dialogue. Any other thoughts on the reading?
Oh. Great job, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Let me share the screen, Dr. Revis.
Okay.
Okay. There's the agenda. I knew I had it pulled up. Next, we're gonna dive into our North Carolina standards for school executives, standard 3. And we're not going to break out or anything, but I do want dialogue from you. It's dealing with cultural leadership. First of all, I want somebody, and we can't sit around and wait. So I want somebody to go ahead. First of all, I want somebody to tell me what is culture. Quickly, somebody, what is culture?
So again, coaching, I've coached football for 25 years. So to me, culture is what the community sees about your school, how the people inside your building, how the coaching staff or the teachers feel about everything, how your players, your students perceive how the school is and things like that. But the big thing is community and how the people working in the building and then when people talk about your school, what are they saying about your school?
That's a good part of it. Thank you, Tommy. One more person. What is culture? To add to what Tommy has said.
I was going to say culture usually embodies like the beliefs and the thoughts and the things that's important to people, like based on, where they come from and their life experiences.
Okay, that's good, Jara. Somebody respond to this. Somebody that has worked in more than one school, just briefly respond to this. Are the cultures the same in every school? If you've worked in more than one school, I want you to just to briefly talk about that.
No.
Okay, Whitney, go ahead, Whitney.
No, the culture is different based on the location, the day-to-day activity within the school. I can go to one school and it can be very upbeat and it could be all in, and you go to another school and it can just seem draining. It can seem like a lack of motivation. So it's just really the overall environment of the school.
It's good. Everybody make sure you mute yourselves. Okay, Jessica?
I just wanted to add that I have worked for some very effective administrators and one very non-effective administrator. And I think the administration has a huge impact on school culture and how people feel coming to work every day. And I mean, I just really, I don't even know how to say it any better. Admin just,
Right.
that's a huge part of the culture.
And you're exactly right. Do you think teachers add to the culture?
I do, absolutely. Their positive and negative attitudes can make a big difference, but I think overall, the administration plays the biggest part.
Okay, let's look at this real quickly. The summary says school executives will understand and act on the understanding of the important role of a school's culture. The role of school's culture contributes to the exemplary performance of the school. School executives must support and value the traditions, artifacts, symbols, and positive values and norms of the school and community that result in a sense of identity and pride upon which to build a positive future. I'm going to use myself as an example. I was principal of a high school for 6 years. Actually, the high school that I was principal of is about 17 miles from where I live. We actually were rivals when I was a student in high school in football, basketball, and everything else. So when I went into that, I had grown, in the culture of St. Paul's where I live. But when I went to Red Springs, only 17 miles down the road, it was like going into maybe another country, so to speak, because the things that they valued there, the things that they did there were so different from where I had attended high school and where I had worked as an assistant principal and a teacher for 15 years. So when I went there as the principal, what do you think would have happened if when I went into that school that I did not accept the way a lot of the things were there? Do you think I would have been there for 6 years, Ravonda?
No, sir, I don't. I think a lot of times when we come in and we try to change things immediately, instead of checking it out and observing it and see how it works and kind of try to fall in place, then we kind of get it where the staff, they don't want to perform for you because now you're trying to come in and change what they're considered the norm. So no,
Right.
I don't think you would have been there long if you would have came in and tried to change that dynamic to fit your needs.
You're exactly right. When I went in, I had to be accepted by that community. And here I was, a white male, and it was a minority community. So you see, first of all, many of the people were going to look as I'm not the color of what most of the people look like in that school. So I went in knowing that. And so I had to be very cognizant of, the sectors of the community that I was dealing with. And so, if I had gone in and done my fancy talking and, things like that, I had to come down some, in how I communicated with people until they realized that, and I'm going to use this term because, we're real. They had to realize that this white man really did care about their children, really did care about their community. And once I did that, I indoctrinated myself into the culture of that community, their churches, events, everything. And I will tell you, it's been 20 some years now. I still go into that community I can go anywhere and I am accepted very well. It's my home away from home. But I had to work at it. Now, was everything right in the culture? And this talks about that. No, there were some things that were kind of branded there, and there was no. If I had tried to change it, they would have ran me out of town probably. But there were some things that I realized that it was holding the school back, and I knew that I couldn't just come in and just say, blah blah this, blah blah that. I had to strategically work at helping to change some things in the culture of the school. And that took time. It was strategic, and I couldn't do it by myself. As I embraced communities of people, as I became friends, it was easy for when we were having dialogue, as we talked about, and it was give and take. I would listen or whatever. I found opportunities that I could begin talking about, because we had that relationship. So I had to build the relationships, but it took me a while. But I would say 3 years into my principalship there, I was able to begin to make some positive changes that improved the overall academics and everything else of the school. But it took me time to do that. So, as you're going into the schools, you've got to realize, as a principal, as an assistant principal, that know the culture of your school. It's the heartbeat of the school. It's like, Ravonna, it's like every one of us that's on screen tonight. We all have a personality. Our personalities, while we've got some things that are in common, all of our personalities are different. The personality, you've got to learn the personalities of the schools where you are, and you have to, to relate to that. And as we look down, let's talk about the practices. I want 2 or 3 people just to talk about, as you looked at these practices, what is something key that stood out to you that as a principal or as an administrator, that would help you, guide you into cultural leadership in your school? Somebody. Christine?
One of the bullet points that resonated with me was the systematically and fairly acknowledges failures and celebrates accomplishments of the school and the staff. Making sure that you create a culture of safety, so that when teachers are trying new strategies in their classrooms, they feel supported and not afraid to grow. I've worked in a culture before where teachers were afraid of what the repercussions would be if they tried something new, it didn't go well. And a lot of that was from what they've observed. So just creating that culture of safety and that failure is okay, using that as a teaching moment.
Do you think teachers should be given the opportunity to fail?
I think so.
Freedom to fail. It's all right. And we learn from our failures and mistakes. We should learn from them. That's good. One more person. One more person.
I think the collaborative work environment, to work as a team. I see this in my principal that we currently have. She's actually new this year to our school, but she has delegated certain things, something as simple as like who's absent every day. One certain person in the school puts that out every morning, and so the whole school, knows who's where, and if anybody's got to cover, we know ahead of time versus not knowing where we're supposed to be. It's the communication, and she's just implemented a bunch of things where we know who to go to for certain things versus always just going to the principal.
That's
Um,
good, Brooklyn. Thank you for
yeah.
sharing that. And one thing more, let's look at the artifacts. This is as an administrator, these are the artifacts that you would be responsible for. Work of professional learning communities within the school, documented use of the school improvement team in decision making throughout the year. Um, North Carolina Teacher Working Condition Survey, in South Carolina, the equivalent, your school improvement plan, teacher retention data, student achievement data, and awards structure developed by school. So I will tell you, um, cultural leadership is vitally important to your success in the school and you being able to move the school forward, and accomplish what you need to accomplish there. Dr. Revis, anything you'd like to comment on that?
Well, I would just like to reemphasize, it's already been talked about how important that principal is in setting the culture of the school. I think when I was principal and I was a high school principal, I did not realize when I was in that role how important how I treated people, how I treated the adults, how I treated the students, how important that was, and how my teachers modeled that. And so, as a principal, you do set the tone in the culture. It may take you a while to get in there and change some things, but you can start out just simply by how you treat other adults and how you treat your students. And teachers will pick up on that.
They certainly
But
will.
it's a huge job. It is a huge job, but that was a great discussion, Dr. Stedman.
Okay, thank you. And just a reminder, standard 4 for next week. Lord, I've lost my train of thought. Human resource leadership. So be prepared next week with human resource leadership, standard 4. Dr.
And we're
Revis
going
says, as we move on down to APA 7th edition, do you have any comments there about anything that needs to be made?
Well, the only thing other than just be sure that you are using your editing checklist before you turn assignments in. And we're going to share with you some peer review teams. We've assigned peer review teams in your Blackboard shell so that you can reach out to members of your peer review team. We have 4 to 5 people in each team. And if you have a question or if you want somebody to read your assignment through before you submit it, that's a great idea. It's always a good idea to get somebody to proofread your work, but you really need to get somebody to proofread your work who knows APA and who knows the assignment. So I think it's just another way for you to get to know each other and to collaborate. You will use these same peer review teams when we get to the work of NCPPA artifacts. Because we can't review those artifacts. You can review each other's, but we can't review them. So it's a good practice to build some relationships within your peer review teams and to start using each other to provide feedback on your assignments before they're submitted.
And if you for Dr. Revis's group, I think you've got three peer review teams.
You know what? I can't remember.
No, for this one, we put 3 in the team or 4 in the team.
Okay, yeah, 3 or 4, yeah.
So 3 or 4. So if you go to your Blackboard shell and you look under go in Blackboard and you look under peer review resources, you'll find the teams there. You'll find the teams that you're working with, and you don't have to wait until we give you an assignment. Somebody in the group can say, "Hey, can we get together and have a Zoom meet so that we can share each other's phone numbers? We can you can reach out to people if you're running into a problem with something, and instead of sitting there for hours and contemplating on it, you may call somebody, and I may call Dr. Revis and say, Dr. Revis, I'm having a problem with this. And Dr. Revis could quickly say something that would, help me get right back on task with something. So, help each other out with that. And but they're in your Blackboard shell. If you have any questions about that, reach out to Dr. Revis and me. And again, you will use these teams to do specific work, but not now. This is just to be able to get to know each other and to get help from each other if you need it. One more thing, Tommy, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just been making sure. Where is it on the Blackboard? I'm sorry.
Okay,
Because I
go
can't
under
find
go
it.
go under internship. Go under peer review resources. Do you see that?
No, sir, on the
Okay,
in the
it's
actual
going
class.
to be under where your syllabus and all that is. It's going to be the drop downs from that.
I think it's under syllabus, policies, and other course
It is.
information.
When you click on that, it'll scroll down and you'll find it.
I got it.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And just a quick reminder of your clinical internship. Remember, we mentioned it last week. Week 7 is going to be here before you know it. You've got 2 more weeks to have a minimum of half of your clinical hours ready for us. We've given you what they should look like. We've given you the exemplar. We've given you the template. We've given you, how many hours you can have in this, how many you can have in that we need a diversity of hours. If you're in the 3-semester program, remember you got to have a minimum of 50 hours submitted to us. If you're in the 5-semester program, then you've got to have 100 hours for the 3-semester and 50 hours for the 5-semester. And this is due no later than March the 1st by 6:00 p.m. Are there any questions about your clinical logs that are going to be due?
And again, those resources are found. If you will expand the syllabus, policies, and other course information, those resources are found. Mine are right under the peer review resources.
Right, and mine should be the same thing because it copied over.
And you must use the template. Can we pull that up just a minute, Dr. Stedman, you think?
Okay, let me okay, I've got to let me stop this. Let me minimize this. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I've got to pull up my Dr. Revis.
I've got it pulled up if you want
You got
me
it?
to.
Let me stop share then. Let me stop
Okay.
share. You see all this stuff that hides? And let me stop share right here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Again, it's right under my peer review resources. If you'll expand that, I want to just look at this clinical internship hour log template. Can you see that? Is it big
Yes,
enough?
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, down here at the bottom. Now, at the end of the semester, and this is for my 3-semester, you've got to have 70 hours in leadership, only 10 hours in supervision, 20 in technical, and for all your work that you're doing, what you're doing in your assignments right now is called the APSL. We've not called it that. We've just said assignments, 100 hours. So for the mid-semester log, you take half of that. So that would be 35 hours in leadership, no more than 4 hours in supervision, no more than 10 technical, and no more than 50 for the work you've been doing in your assignment work. Okay?
5 hours in supervision, Dr. Revis.
She's in 5 hours in supervision.
And it's not doing the same thing. It's not 5 hours of bus duty.
Right.
You've got to show diversity in what you're doing. Okay?
Jessica, did you have a question about this?
Yes, ma'am. I was kind of confused on what all that we can put down for our hours for the AAPSL portfolio. Could you clarify?
Okay. So for assignment 1, you can use things that you're doing in your school when you collected the data, you found your data, when you analyzed data, use that. When you spoke with your principal, use that. When you may have even had to meet with your data manager or somebody in testing. All of that work that you did to get assignment 1 ready, you can use. The only thing you can't use really is the time you spend in writing up the assignment. Okay. The same thing for assignment 2. When you're meeting with a principal to organize your focus groups, or when you're doing the focus groups, you could count all of that time. Okay? Tommy?
And yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So, and you kind of did clarify, but I just wanted to make sure. So you have to have half of all 4, and can you have more than half, or do you have to stop at like 35? Like if you have 40, is that okay for the mid
If you've
semester?
got 40, but that means that you can't bank up hours, right, Dr. Revis? You've got
Right.
to provide, you still got to provide hours
For the rest of them.
for the rest of it, and you've got to work up until the end of until they're due at the end.
Okay, so we need to stop. We need to stop exactly at halfway, and we have to be exactly at 200.
Well, you
Or can you
you
be
have to
over?
have no, you can have more than 200,
Okay.
but and you can't bank hours for the next semester. Once we get them, they count for this semester only, and we'll
Right.
tell you when you can start working on hours for next semester.
As in
Now,
like
for
summer
those of
semester?
you in a 5-month program, your total for the semester is 100. So you're going to cut those hours by mid-semester. Instead of 70 hours in leadership, or instead of 35 hours in leadership by mid-semester, you have half of that, 17 and a half. Okay? Jahara? Or Jira?
Can you explain the difference between, I think, the technical and the leadership? Because when I was looking at the exemplar, some of the things that were listed as technical, I might would have put it as leadership. So I just want to know exactly what does that mean?
Well, I don't know if I can tell you exactly because some of it, you're right, some
Okay.
of it is a judgment call. Okay? Um, for example, let's say, give me an example there, Jira.
Um, Let me see. There was something, it was like met with, I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think
Here's
it was something that said like met with like the team to discuss
okay.
like that. And I would have thought that might have been leadership if you were taking a part in.
It could be.
Okay.
A lot of what's going to be that make the difference is your verbiage here, the verb.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I could dispute this one right here. I got my cursor over. Meeting with district testing coordinator / data coordinator to discuss math data and potential growth. I could say that may be technical, but you know what? I could see how it could be either way. So I don't think I really get down to splitting hairs on some of this. But now, if you try to say that your car rider duty is leadership, I'm going to fight you on that one all day. Yes, you do greet and meet your children and you meet parents, but that is supervision.
Okay. Can I just add, like, I'm doing something that has never been done at my school before, and I am in charge of, I'm doing like a whole um workshop development that is also a first time talent show. So I have to organize so many aspects of it. So some of those duties, a lot of them are leadership, but then there's some things that fall under that I just put as technical because I may have had to meet to get all the
Right.
logistics on budgeting. Like, is that okay?
Right.
Okay.
But here's what I will tell you. If I'm reviewing yours, which I will, if I see your 100 hours has 50 hours of stuff where you've developed that talent show, I'm not going to let you do that.
Okay.
Okay. You've got to get a variety of experiences. Okay.
Okay, and just remember too, Jira and the others, it's not what you do with students because that's a teacher's job or whatever. It's got to be your leadership with adults in the school.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Lots of times we have exceptional children or special needs teachers will put in a lot of IEP meetings. I may let you get away with some, but that's what you do as a special needs teacher.
Now,
So,
I think Tommy reached out to me on that, and what I told Tommy, that's not something that Tommy does. He's a
right.
math teacher, whatever. So I told him, I said, yes, you need the experience of being in an IEP meeting, but I can't give you but so much credit for
Yes.
that. But that was one experience that he could do.
Yes. But if it's something that you typically do in your teaching role,
Okay, right.
that's not going to get it. You got to get leadership outside of the classroom. That's key. Leadership outside of the classroom. And that is due no later than week 7. It's coming up on us because we're in week 5. That's hard to believe.
It is. Okay. And Dr. Revis, I think asking them, do they have any questions about assignment 2? That's coming up. It's due February the 22nd. Any questions
Yeah.
about? You should be well working on assignment 2. Elizabeth?
I didn't have a question about assignment 2, not yet, but about the hours real quick.
Okay.
So we have a school dances coming up that I was put over. Like I had to coordinate, I had to call in, I had to do the budget. I'm over both school dances. Could I use that as hours?
Use some of them, yeah.
Because one
Definitely.
of the dances is after school, but the other one is during school because it's for the younger grades. And then the other one's after school. But I had to do the budget, I had to plan it, and I'll be the admin on duty for those dances.
Now the admin on duty is supervision.
Okay. So that part can count as supervision.
That would count as supervision, but your budgeting, assigning, you had to get chaperones and assigning
Right.
chaperones.
I had to do the tasks. I had to do the spreadsheets.
Break that down
babysitting.
into the
Okay.
different aspects of it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions about assignment 2? Everybody good? Dr. Revis, any comments you want to make on that?
Well, I do want to say a couple things. We're making you run all your work through Turnitin, and it generates a similarity report, and of course, it will generate your AI report. We would like for you to use these headings, and we well know that that's going to show in your similarity report. We will exclude those matches. However, Do not get too closely on these words in here. Okay? Use your own words. Headings are okay. Now, all of you are going to have these 5 questions. We can go into your similarity report and exclude those from the similarity report. But none of the other information should be the same. Again, the heading will be the same and your interview questions would be the same.
Dr. Rivas, what do we need to say to students that got on assignment 1, turn it in, and there were some AI issues? What do we need to say to them?
Well, if you had AI issues, and I didn't have any, Dr. Stedman, so if you had AI issues or similarity issues, we emailed you. Okay. AI issues, again, I applaud my group because you have taken that to heart. You've cut off Grammarly and you're doing your own work. I do see some things hitting on some of my verbiage from the helpful hints. Just be careful, and make those your own words. We can exclude headings, we'll exclude the questions, but the other stuff has to be your words and your sentence structure. If you get hit with AI, we will let you know. And I promise you, the only way you can fix it is you got to redo the assignment and redo and we will generate a report for you and show you where it's hitting, and you have to rewrite. And that's the only way to get around it.
Okay. Christine?
Sorry, I didn't realize I hit the button.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Any questions on your similarity or AI reports? One thing, and this is a process thing. Assignment 1, both Dr. Stedman and I really tried hard to give you several opportunities to revise and get assignment 1 as good as you could get it. But you never go to turn it in until we tell you to. All right? So be sure you do that. And once we tell you to, you need to get it on to turn it in. When you revise, guys, on your revisions, you should see your grade go up. Now, I've got one person sitting in my class with a 70, and that person hasn't offered to do one revision. So guess what? Not only is their work going to stay a 70, but they're going to turn in subpar work to their evaluator. The work you're doing right now in these assignments will go to a Gardner-Webb task stream evaluator eventually. Okay? So you go back and you check. You should have 100 in your assignment 1 grade. And we should have already said to you, you're ready to upload to turn it in. If you're still sitting at anything below 100, unless you were late, then you need to do a revision and get them done quickly. And we're not going to be as lenient going forward. That's why we've developed peer review teams, so you can review each other's work. You have time to do that. And we will only give you from here on out your first assignment and 1 revision if needed. Before you know it, you're going to be turning in things that won't need any revisions. I promise you. But we're being particular because we want you to get to that point in your writing to come up to that level of writing. Dr. Stedman, you want to add anything to that?
No, that's I think you've said it all. Jared, you have another question?
Yes. Just real quick, because I emailed you, Dr. Stedman, and you kind of gave me a response already, but I just wanted to clarify. Is there a difference between a similarity report and the AI? Because I think the similarity report for me was 5%, which I think was meeting the requirements. But the AI thing was just slightly above 20%. And I did do all the things like turn off Grammarly. I only used Microsoft Word. So I just didn't know if there was something else that I didn't know about that contributed to that, because I truly did write everything myself.
Right. Well, I will tell you this, Jara, and the rest of you. When it sends the report, it'll indicate many times that this could have been from a large handbook, and the handbook itself could have been AI generated. So that automatically is good. So Dr. Revis, we talked about that today. So if that's the case, Dr. Revis, what should they do when they're writing their work?
Well, first of all, if I'm going to address this in two different pieces.
Okay.
Similarity reports, you're right. It's about plagiarism. It's about that you're not giving credit to the author. We want you to start paraphrasing as much as you can, but if that's a higher order thinking skill, we talked about that, and that's difficult to do. But if you can't patch write. Patch write means I take somebody's exact words and I'm substituting a few words here and there. That's going to hit similarity. Can't do that. If you are having trouble paraphrasing, then use direct quotes. But you got to put page numbers with direct quotes. And if your paper is full of direct quotes, it says that maybe you are struggling to think at that higher level. Okay? If you are below 19% on similarity, we don't worry about it. All right? If you are below 19% AI, it reports as undetectable. There'll be a little asterisk. Because if I use Grammarly or if I use Microsoft Copilot to change a verb tense, it's going to ding that. But you got 19% leeway. But if you get over 20%, we start saying, let me dig a little deeper and see what's going on. And I don't mind doing a little video clip about what to do if you're high. But if your AI is dinging in high, it's a rewrite, and that's all you can do. I don't know any other way to solve it. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Maybe kind of.
Yes.
And Jared, none of us, we're not accusing anybody of anything. So y'all please know that. But we have to make you aware because, first of all, the university holds us accountable for it. Secondly, once it gets past our eyes, it's going to go somewhere else. And we don't want it to get to that place and then you're flagged because we didn't bring attention to it earlier. Okay.
And AI picks up on things like if you have written a previous paragraph and everybody has their own unique writing style. Everybody. We have our own vocabulary and sentence structure we use. It's just your writing style is a very personal thing to you. And it will really pick up if that writing style changes or if the vocabulary starts changing from what they've seen throughout your paper. It's saying, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like the other pieces of this paper. And as a reader, Dr. Stedman and I can tell, wow, she's kind of, and I work with doctoral students, and I can promise you, I can tell very quickly after I work with somebody for a year and a half. They didn't write that. I can tell. But, it does pick up on changes in sentence structure, vocabulary, all that kind of stuff. Melanie?
I never saw my report. Where do we find that?
Okay.
I don't know if you can see the report. Okay.
Oh, okay. So if we did no news is good news.
Right. And if you don't hear
Okay.
us, if you don't hear from us,
Okay.
then it's okay.
Yeah, you're
Got
good to
it.
go.
And
Okay, thank you.
even even if it's low like yours was, Gyro, you're not going to get a report. It's just that you need to be aware of it, and you need to, any of you, we have to make you aware of it, of things. So
If we have to send you an email for my students, I'm going to download the similarity
right,
report and
right.
send it to you, or the AI report, whichever applies, and send it to you. But if you don't hear from us, you are golden.
And it doesn't mean that, again, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means we've got to fix something.
Yeah, we got to work a little bit, and
Yeah.
that's this is your first course. You're gonna have some work to do. But I will say I was very
I
pleased
was too. Yeah. Overall,
with the
it
work
was,
and the quality of writing.
it
And
was.
I was very pleased with the AI reports.
And
I
the
really
work that you had to go back and fix, most of you or all of you, you did a good job in fixing it. I still got a couple out there that still needs some attention, but it's not, it's not anything major that you can't fix. Okay, Dana?
Yes, yeah, I moved a little fast with the turn in part. Um, so when I did my revised one, I put it back into the assignments where you um, upload the first assignment, and that's where my revised one is because I was a little hard headed.
Okay, I will go back in and write myself a note to go back in and look at yours. Yeah, once you use turn it in, the similarity report won't work again. Your AI report will work. You can turn it back in again, but yeah, I'll go back and pull yours
Thank you,
down.
because my revised one is in the
Okay.
assignment tab.
All righty.
Okay. And Dr. Revis, just as a reminder, you've got to read chapter 4 for next week, which is the impact cycle out of your textbook, standard 4, human resource leadership. And then I put some links in there to begin looking at. All of this is going to deal with work that you will be doing, and we'll talk about it more, but it's to go ahead and start getting you exposed to some things dealing with the learning gaps. So begin looking at those, and we'll spend some time talking about that, but it helps you better understand what you're doing. And then work on assignment 2. Dr. Revis, I think that's it. It's
I do too.
Oh.
I do too. Very pleased with your time management and with your timeliness on your assignments. Just keep working hard. Use your peer review teams. Everybody has access to the discussion board, maybe, where you put in your information. But if not, you could use the chat box now to kind of introduce yourselves, I guess, to each other and give you each other's email addresses or phone numbers. Enos?
Yes, I'm kind of going a little backwards in terms of the internship requirements. So if you're in the 20-month program, you said it was going to be, so it was like 10 hours, half of the 10, which is 5. So for the 20-month, you said it would be 2.5?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
okay.
Dana,
Dana?
do you have another question? Your hand's still up.
Okay.
Do you want some time to put your information
No,
in the chat
sorry.
box?
I don't have a question. I just
Okay.
forgot to put it down.
Okay, guys. You really are doing a good job, though. Just please know that. And again, we talked about it last week. Think about where you were just 5 weeks ago and where you are now. Just think about how much you've already grown. And you're only going to get better.
Well, we've gone over tonight and we apologize for that. I like to take questions as we go through. I know that it takes longer to get through the class, but I think it makes more sense and is more timely when we can answer questions as we go. If you can give us some feedback about that, whether you wait till everybody holds them to the end or we can do like we've been doing. I think the end result's about the same. We get out about the same time, but I appreciate your patience. Appreciate your patience with me in these crazy breakout rooms.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you, hey, you guys know this stuff, technology better than I. Have a good evening.
Hey, Dr. Barnes, thank you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna email you guys some information.
Okay, good.
So that way you don't have to stay on longer tonight.
Okay. All right.
I have
Great.
a question. I sent an email, I think last week, but I didn't hear anything. I was asked to represent our school district at a community event next Wednesday. Are there any repercussions if I'm late to class or have to miss class next
No,
week?
you'll be fine, Christine.
Okay. Okay. Thank
You'll
you.
be fine.
Thanks.
You're
Just
welcome.
watch the recording.
Will do. Thank you.
I know you keep up anyway.
Okay. Tasha, did you understand my feedback to you?
I did, and I think I did. So I made the change.